Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January of 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Hey everybody, we back again.
Hey, we're back and we're live.
I'm Spencer. That's our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
I'm the grumpy old white man of the show, Dr. Naz. Big chin.
Pretty pep in your step there.
Well,
Hey everybody, welcome.
I still haven't fully lost my love of my life yet, so I'm still happy.
Okay. Wow. Remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or dude, it's completely up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to rub those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. So, before we get to the show, we have a special guest. She is a PDA certified parenting consultant who empowers families with autistic and PDA children through support, understanding, and advocacy. Please welcome Dina Daniels to the show. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you very much for the intro. I'm Dina.
Very
I'm super
nice.
nervous, but I'm happy to be here.
Don't you worry about
We're
it.
literally the dumbest guys you've ever met. Do not be nervous.
Doubtful.
Fear us. Always fear the dumb ones. All right. So before we get into it, shout out to BetterHelp. BetterHelp. You can get 10% off your first month of therapy if you go to our link, betterhelp.com/DSP. We want to make sure that our audience is not only able to hear us and talk about mental health, but then hopefully you can also go out and get your own help for mental health as well. So go check it out. And if BetterHelp's for you, great. And if not, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So go check it out and try it out for the first month, because then you could get 10% off.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So today we are doing the movie Up by Disney and Pixar. How am I going to explain this? It's very sad. Very sad. It's a very sad, happy movie.
It is.
Guess. Yeah. Let me tell you something. The shock when I first saw this in theaters, just being like, okay, all right. When did this come out? This came out in 2009.
Yeah.
So I was like, what, 15? Yeah, 15. And so, yeah, just even as a 15-year-old, you're like, what the fuck is this? Okay, she can't have children. Sadness.
Yeah, it's super sad.
Oh, she dies as well before she can go on her vacation dream trip. great.
Nice. It destroys everyone. They get you early.
Yeah. And then also top of the fact that he's trying to keep his house and this big corporation is like, hey, you better move or else, we're going to bulldoze your house.
Yep.
And then he gets into it with some construction workers. And then that look from the asshole corporate guy just being like, it's time.
Gotcha.
You got to go. You got to go. Didn't do that scene, but hey, you know what? Great scene to talk about. Maybe we will. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
This is a autistic show, so we bounce all over the place.
Yeah.
So, Nas, anything before we get into the show?
Excited to have our guest here today. This will be the first time that we've ever talked about PDA. I know the first time I saw it on Instagram, I'm like, what the hell? What this? PDA.
Just like that.
Public displays of affection? Because every client I talk to, that's what they say. I say, well, I know you don't like that either, girl. But, you got the other one. You got the tism one. And I love Instagram because of accounts like hers and a few other ones where they've been mentioning this. I'm like, holy shit, so many of my clients have this. My own brother has this. I have this. I'm like, what? It's nice when you can learn new words.
It sure is, Nas. It sure is.
It's a whole new word. So we're going to definitely talk about that. And then I decided to throw in the scenes, right, about love, relationships, romance. We're going to talk a little bit about sexuality as well. Because I saw a very powerful real TikTok video. Blech, can't believe I just said that. This dude talking about we put love on this pedestal of like being in relationships. And we do. And I want to talk about how some of us on the spectrum, that's real and then that's not real. And how that really hurts a lot of folks. Specifically women and women in certain cultures, even more so. So we're gonna have some fun, but we're not gonna cry at all this. There's some fun scenes in here. Some fun.
Is there? What fun was there?
Perseverance.
It's different than fun.
Love perseveres. It transcends.
We got some funny scenes here. Can't have a baby.
No, it's what comes after that. It's fun.
What? She dies?
Well, man, after that, he loses his house.
Yeah.
He gets a dog best friend and he gets like a son.
But you didn't show that. You only showed the dog.
Well, I'm just saying, just remember, bad things happen to you, you get to adopt a little white kid.
Isn't he Asian?
Is he Asian?
I think so. Yeah. I think he's Asian in there.
I'm not touching Russell. There's too many jokes there. So, all right, let's get into the show. Let's have some fun. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Can you say whoop?
Whoop, whoop.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah.
You got to my awkwardness. I'm like, I think I should,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
We just, yeah. It's the best part, just staring in the silence.
We always do that.
Yeah.
The fun thing is now we can cancel you for appropriating us.
You dare say it.
All right, let's do it.
Russell? Russell!
I'm gonna help Kevin, even if you won't!
No! Russell, no!
I was hiding under your porch because I love you. Can I stay?
Can you stay? Well, you're my dog, aren't you? And I'm your master.
You are my master? Oh boy! Oh boy!
Good boy, Doug. You're good.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching our show today. We just wanted to take some time to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Cat and Raven Design. They are a small queer-owned business that specializes in LGBTQ plus pride soaps. They have great designs, some that even look good to eat, but don't. You can get 10% off your entire order if you use the code DSP or go to our link tree. Help support this great small business and help give back to a great community. We back again.
We're live and we're back. I thought I said it backwards. We're supposed to say I'm back and we're live. I said, well, we're back and we're live.
Yes.
Just as live.
God.
Just as live. Oh my God, I'm not going there.
You already know where I was thinking you were going. It's bad.
Yeah, I'm not going there. Out of respect for him.
Yes.
And his wife.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, we're live. Let's have some fun. Those of you that'll see this podcast, just know that we were crying before this and we cried in the podcast before us. So today's a day. Today's a day. But we're live.
It's raining here, so
It's raining too.
yeah.
Bastards.
So.
Jesus hates us.
Actually, in Irish tradition, if it rains on a funeral, it's actually good luck, and it's actually supposed to be a good thing. So,
oh, there you go.
Yeah, there was no funeral that I know of today, but you know what? There maybe was one. I don't know.
I mean, we just watched
Sunday.
one on the show, so
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Good luck to us.
shout out to everyone's heart that died during this film.
Yeah,
because ours did. All right, I'm done. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So, like I said, we're doing Up, and then we also have a special guest, Dina Daniels, on the show with us today. Which, like I said before in the beginning, you are PDA certified. What does that mean to be PDA certified, and what does PDA mean?
So let's start with PDA first. So pathological demand avoidance. It is a behavior profile that was identified in a group of autistic. So they put it as autism and PDA profile. So
Okay.
the behavior,
Okay.
certain
Okay.
behaviors that you see.
Okay. And
Yep.
how did you kind of get started being PDA certified, and just like where was your beginnings when it comes to being certified?
My beginnings was my son is autistic, and we went through a hell of a journey to even get him diagnosed autistic. And then I always felt like there was a missing piece. Not the puzzle piece. I know I'll get in trouble for that. Yeah. There was just always a missing piece. No matter what the specialist told us to do, it didn't work. And then we got the typical ODD diagnosis,
Yep.
which didn't really fit. And I went to Pinterest. So the way I recognized autism 9 years ago was through Pinterest, because I got so much pushback that my son was not autistic, and I knew I wasn't imagining anything. So I was like, let me go to Pinterest again. Here we are 9 years later, I'm getting pushback, and this graph came up of, is it ODD or is it PDA? And what's PDA? And I read it, and literally my life changed in a few minutes. This light bulb went off. This is it. My son's not defiant. He can't do this stuff. He wants to be able to do this stuff, but he physically can't, because he wants control of the situation 24 hours a day. And it just all made sense. So that I really need to dive into this. I need to go deeper than I ever have, because I know that there are other families out there struggling with this. What is happening? Why isn't traditional parenting working for my child? Why are all the specialists looking at me like I have 6 heads when I'm in the room? They're like, it's just ODD. It's just ODD. I'm like, but it's not. So which led me to the path of, I found a study in the UK on PDA. I read through that and I stumbled across PDA North America org, and it's a whole organization, nonprofit, started, and they offer certifications for parents and coaches, and they offer certification level 2 for professionals like yourself
Okay.
to help your clients. Yeah, yeah. So that's how I kind of stumbled upon it.
Question. I'm
All
going
of
to
it.
interject with a question.
Yeah.
What is I know what it is, but for everyone listening, what is ODD?
Oppositional Defiant Disorder.
What the hell does that mean?
It
What the hell
means
is
that your child is choosing not to do something. They don't want to do it. It is total defiance. They will look you in the face and just be like, no. They'll drop that screwdriver and they will walk away. Like that's how I see it.
Okay. Okay.
There's just like there's no emotion behind it. Their actions, it's almost like talking to a wall in a way. But when it comes to PDA, it's totally different. My son has so much emotion. He's always pulling on his hair and he's always crying, and like you can see that internal struggle that he just can't verbalize and get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you're helping parents and you're consulting with them. What does that mean to you? Kind of being able to help parents through a situation where you were struggling with everyone else, with all these different, doctors or, physicians that were kind of just waving it off as autism or PDA.
Yeah. 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 It has been a heart-wrenching and heartwarming journey all at the same time, because I dug and dug for 9 years straight for myself. And now that I can offer this gift of knowledge to other families, and I've had multiple families reach out to me, parents reach out to me privately and just say, thank you for sharing this. I know how hard this is in, putting these videos out. And it's helped them feel not alone anymore. And I felt alone for a long time during this journey, because most people don't understand. Family, professionals, friends, they just don't understand. And it's nice to have a community, even though it's online, but that community is there and it's tight knit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot a question here. So we literally just got done talking to a guest about, shout out to M, therapist out in New York. And they were talking about their journey and really hard and dismissive about getting their child diagnosed. What do you think it is that makes it so hard to get diagnosed, these children these days? It's hard for everyone, but what specifically is why do they keep pushing your kids away? Or, what do you think that is?
Keep in mind, this was 9 years ago when I brought this up about my son. He's almost a teenager. And the first doctor appointment, I'll never forget it. They looked at me, they looked at him, and they said, well, he looked at me. He looked at you when I questioned him. And then I brought up the tippy toe walking. And they literally said, let me see his feet. They looked at his feet and they said, go home, sit on the couch with him and flex his feet. But I said, he doesn't want me to touch his feet. He does not like to be touched. Like it just kept, there was always, he's a boy, give it more time, he'll grow out of it. It's probably just ADHD. And it goes to the fact that when we're looking at autism, they're looking at one part of the spectrum. They're looking at lack of eye contact, totally staring at the floor. They're looking at, well, he can talk, so how can he be autistic? If he's doing okay in school, how can he be autistic? He can eat breakfast some days, he can brush his teeth some days, how can he be autistic? It's the old mindset of what autism looked like. And I feel like a lot of professionals' beliefs and ideas are outdated.
I mean, I also just think that too, it's like, even if, say, they were doing bad in school, then they just would have been like, oh, it's a developmental problem. Like it's not autism. So it's like, either way, it's just excuses on top of excuses,
Yeah.
even though this could be something very easily treatable, and it's a very easy thing to actually kind of come by and be like, hey, this is it. Let's talk through it and like what everyone needs to do in order for this child to, you know, have somewhat of a not normal life, but just have a life where they're comfortable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The services that you could have qualified for, or a lot of parents that could, if they're under like state insurance and stuff like that, like having the diagnosis could mean a lot. Now you can start opening the doors to referrals for speech language issues, mobility issues, occupational therapy, PT, extra tutoring, academic, IEPs, like holy shit. And so not having this a diagnosis is disabling just that. So
I agree. And even if the doctor 9 years ago said to me, I hear you, why don't you get an occupational therapy referral and a speech referral? I didn't even need a diagnosis on paper for him to even get those type of services, right? Like I could have just shown up and they would have evaluated him for occupational therapy. We missed out on so many years of early intervention because I just had no idea. It was me,
Nope.
myself, and I on Pinterest. And, he didn't start OT until he was 8. He was 8 years old.
Okay.
And finally somebody was just like, well, why? And I'm like, I didn't know.
you don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It was my first kid. Like, I just didn't know. Like, I was trying so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
The access from the internet and all that. Pinterest, I mean, that wasn't even that big in those days.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now everything's everywhere, right? You can find things.
Yeah.
So like now, fast forward 9 years, and I don't want to talk a lot, obviously, about the child, but I do want to talk some. Did they recently get diagnosed, or is that in the recent couple of years?
Age 9 was when we were told it was Asperger's, and I'm sorry for saying that word, but that's what we were initially told.
Yep.
I know some people do get upset about that, but then that's what occupational therapy noticed, but they can't diagnose, so they sent us to another psychologist because we had moved at that time to a different state, and she was like, it would be considered level 1 autism, and she did her whole evaluation. That took another 6 months because she needed more evaluation at OT, and then it finally came back autism level 1. So yeah,
Jesus
quite a
Christ!
ride.
I'm sorry. It's another question, Spence. I've been seeing this stuff. I've never even heard of this stuff till the internet. What is these levels of autism? 1, 2, and 3. Do you know much about that? Oh, that's for you.
Me? Yeah.
Dina, yeah, Dina. Yeah.
Oh, me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, it started off as low functioning and high functioning.
Yep.
And then it was changed to levels 1, 2, and 3, which level 1 being your Asperger's and level 3 being severely autistic.
Okay.
And I get this. Not a lot of people agree with these levels because there are certain days where my son, he's doing okay, he's thriving. And there's certain days where he can't get those words out to anybody.
Yep.
And his levels change based on the day and his needs for that day.
There you go.
And that goes for anybody on the spectrum.
Anybody? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Even me. Yeah, you ain't gonna get canceled from us on this podcast. Like we let people talk, right? And I get, the Asperger's thing, right? So Nazi and all that shit. Yeah, I get that. But right now we're talking about someone's story, and so we allow them to use the words that they're gonna use. And the levels and all that. People don't agree with low functioning, high functioning, right? It's high support needs, low support needs. I mean, we get all that. Want to make sure those language is clear, but also this is your story, not anyone else's. So it's up to you to tell it. So there you go, the levels. I'm trying to just help educate people because, some of our followers ain't going to know this stuff either.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, Spence, I'm going to kick it back over to you for more questions.
Yeah. I mean, we just talked about in the pre-show just about your own self-assessment on your neurodiversity. Can you kind of talk us through, why you wanted to take a self-assessment and, do you even care to even get like a professional one done? Because we've had this talk and it's a big topic right now of where people are self-diagnosing themselves, and there's some backlash between that, if
Mhm.
people should do that or not, even though it's a lot more, it's a lot better when you can kind of hear the words yourself, and you can kind of be like,
Yeah.
oh, this makes sense. This is why this happens and everything like that. Sometimes you don't need a doctor. You don't need people to kind of tell you that sometimes. It's nice to have just to reassure yourself. But honestly, having self-diagnosis, I think is fine.
Valid.
But yes.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I would never try and take that away from somebody. I mean, you don't just wake up one day and be like, I think I'm autistic. Like, it is years and years of why am I thinking this way? Why am I structuring my days like this? Why don't I change my meals? I sit there and having an autistic child as my firstborn and really deep diving in the past few years into this to help him better because I just have to, has opened my eyes to my own neurodivergency because I'm like, you're virtual school now, so why don't we try and make some friends? And I look at myself and I'm like, I don't have any friends. Why am I pushing him? I'm like, why don't we expand our palate and try this? And he's just like, well, you eat the same thing every day. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Don't talk back, you son of a bitch.
You tried something different.
Yeah.
Try.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, I do really I get so nervous and I'm so anxious. And I don't think I've ever been relaxed a day in my life.
Okay.
And I'm finally taking those steps to try and learn how to somatic exercise and a somatic therapist. And it's working for me. And I'm just like, how have I lived like this for so long? And I've always thought differently. And I'm obsessed with Taylor Swift. Hey, Swifties.
Swifty. Hey, good.
And I'll go on and on and on about it. And nobody around me, they don't really entertain it. Like, they don't get it. But my niece texted me the other day. She's growing up and getting into Taylor Swift. And she asked me one question. And then I looked and I sent 10 text messages. And I'm like, oh man, this is too much.
Well,
I'm just too much some days.
girl, she was born in 1992. Let me tell you, it was a Tuesday. It was rainy as a mother. God, that day. I know. And we all knew she was going to be a star.
Travis Kelce is the best man you could ever.
No.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
It's,
Go ahead.
and I decided in hindsight, some of the people I've probably had in my life in one form or another relationship were probably on the spectrum also. And I also just turned 40, so it makes more sense now in life. And I was like, let me take this self-diagnosis and test and see what happens. And I was just like, because the entire test, I was going, well, it depends. It depends. It depends. I think so. You're overthinking this too much.
Mm-hmm.
Way to overanalyze this. Yeah.
Autism.
Yeah. Is this dress, remember that one dress thing that everyone was like, is it black? Is it gold or whatever? Yeah. Ask any autistic and it's like, it depends.
It depends.
It could be.
What angle you looking at? What's the shade?
I'm not racist. I'm joking. I don't see color. I don't see color.
I don't see color.
You're not tricking me, internet. I'm not going to say it's
everyone's beautiful.
Yeah. One white person. It's black. I got you.
Knew it.
Yeah.
You bigot. I'm sorry, Dina. So, right, you're coming on this test real quick. I'm always just going to prompt you for clarification. What the hell assessment did you do? Is it you
the RADS? RADS.
Okay.
Is that how they say it? The RADS. Yeah.
The RADS.
It was 80 questions. Yeah, and I was just like putting it off because I was almost terrified, but I need answers. So I tend to procrastinate. And then I'll just one day just decide to do something. I've always been like that. And I did it. It came back, the score was like 149, and it said the median was like 130 of high probability of autism. And I was like, well, this is a relief and terrifying at the same time, but my life kind of makes sense.
Yep. Ain't that something, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
So since you put something on social media, I'm going to ask you about it. You said that you got a therapist and you cried with them the other day. What is it around this stuff? Or I don't want to get into what it was about, but I figured maybe it was the epiphany of like being autistic, maybe validation. If it's not about that, then you can pivot away. But I love that you commented on our thing, like, this is making me cry. And I was like, girl, you don't even know.
It was about my autistic sister, who's no longer with us. And it is a very sensitive subject. And I was brave enough to talk about it with my therapist.
Yep.
And finally dive into the stages of grief with her. And as hard as it was talking about it, because I've not talked about it for 7 years, and it's 7 years too long, but I'm ready. And I did it, and it was bittersweet. I was sobbing, but it was such a release at the end. Like, I felt almost like metaphor, like my heart exploded out of me and came back together into my chest.
It can be like that, man. Isn't that crazy how just like talk therapy or other forms of therapy, play therapy, bibliotherapy when you're reading, like our last guest, these different types of expression and finally getting it out there. It's weird how getting it out there and having someone look at you, validate you, affirm you, how that helps. Like, I don't know the science behind it, and I'm a freaking therapist. Because something this easy shouldn't be this helpful, but it is. But then none of us want to do it because of the vulnerability or the pain, the fear. And so we suffer, and we hold on to this sadness. What do they say in Star Wars? Yeah, that something leads to anger, leads to suffering. Suffering leads to something. It's something like that. Yoda said something cool. He said something cool.
But backwards.
Go backwards.
But the word be backwards.
He was autistic as shit too. Let's be real.
Little green man walking around just trying to give advice. Shut up. Shut your mouth.
Shut up, you fucking troll.
I didn't ask. All right. I just came to you.
Yeah.
I just needed some money, Yoda. That's it.
Why are you on my back, you son of a bitch?
Get off me.
Jesus. But you're right, man. These diagnoses can be healing. Therapists can be healing. I'm glad that you got that. My God. A lot of people don't get that healing, and they sit in that. And that leads to a lot of suicidality later in life for a lot of men, right? I mean, we're two dudes talking about mental health, and a lot of people in our comments will give a shit about that. But you don't see it. A lot of these accounts are women. A lot of folks on these accounts can be white women talking about these things. It's never going to be two brown dudes. It's not a thing. But shout out to everyone that's healing, that's working on their stuff, that's trusting their therapist. I know it's a privilege to have therapy because of the money and finances, insurance, but hopefully folks get the healing that they need. I didn't think you were going there with that one. I'm sorry to pull that string, but I'm glad that you got the healing that you got.
Thank you.
So the RADs. So that one is really good for folks because the statistics on it is that it's almost damn near just as accurate, or the statistically just as accurate as doing the full assessment. So if you score really high on that, probably going to score really high, right? The correlation percentage is extremely high. When I give out assessments, right, I've got a multitude of them. They're all in the link tree. People can take them. They're free. There's like 4 or 5 of them in there. One of them's a massive checklist that kind of goes more in depth. It's like 5 or 6 pages of questions. There's another quiz on there that's like 250 questions. Like, I've got a lot of in-depth things in there that I found. And they're beneficial. And people will look at it, other psychologists, therapists, they're like, oh, this is just normal anxiety. That's all this is. It's stupid. They're not autistic. I'm like, I don't even know why I talk to you. Like, if you were just going to shit all over my stuff, then what was the point of coming to consult with me? And And it's interesting, Spence. Recently, I've gotten some really cool validation. So some of my students finally got their testing because they got really good insurance through the school. Psychologist calls me up, who's doing the testing, and I'm like, boom, 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 boom. This is what's going on. And then the kid comes back. They're like, yeah, Nas, they said I wasn't autistic. I'm like, send me the paperwork. I read the paperwork. I'm like, girl, it literally says autistic ADHD. I don't know what the fuck did you read. You got dyslexia?
I don't know what it means.
Yeah, you got a PhD. You're doing a PhD. You should be able to read. You're working on satellites and shit, motherfucker. And so I'm joking about this, but it's been magnificent because the joke is with Nas, he thinks everyone's autistic. The joke is with me is that everyone's ADHD and autistic, and they'll joke with me and like mock me, but like they mean it, like I'm stupid. And then my kids get referred for testing, and every time ADHD, autistic, every time autistic, and I'm like, look, and they're like, yeah, whatever, okay. Well, you keep doing harm to your clients, and I'm gonna keep affirming and figuring out the real stuff, what's going on with my clients. Go screw yourself if you want to stay in your old ways of thinking like the doctors you talked to 9 years ago. But you're supposed to be progressive and woke and shit. But you'll be woke about race and gender and all that, but God forbid you think, something that's not disabled speech or ableistic speech, right? God forbid you figure out a new way to conceptualize autism. I am really mad. My coworkers, really mad. Because they're supposed to be the better ones. They're supposed to be the educated ones, and they end up being the most ignorant ones and the most harmful ones. But you said you are getting the full testing too, huh?
I am. I'm going to pursue it.
Look at you. You about to get baptized by the two.
Get baptized in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
In the waters of the chicken fried tenders.
In the chicken tendies. You just baptize in chicken tenders.
You've been knighted by the chicken tender. And so I'm joking
we
about...
knight the autistic.
God save the queen. Also a chicken
and chicken tenders.
And chicken
right.
So wait.
Oh, sorry.
Wait. Let's. We're joking about your food specialties. Your food specialties, specificities. What's your comfort food? What's your safe food?
Probably tacos. Like,
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
but like not all that. Not everything. It's like meat, cheese, extra sour cream, maybe lettuce on a good day. Sometimes not.
Okay.
I like that green stuff. That's okay. Sometimes it can be gross.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Anything healthy, gross. What about your kiddos? What's their safe food?
Chicken nuggets.
There it is. There it is. Every time.
That son of a bitch.
You put some chicken tendies in, we're good.
Yeah.
I think chicken tenders were made by autistic for autistics. Chicken tenders are the FUBU for us by us.
Yeah.
You ever had those Tyson chicken tenders, boy?
Boy. I'll literally text Spencer, like, you gotta try this new chicken tender, man. This shit is crazy.
Wow, it tastes like another chicken tender. They're all the same, you idiot. Wow, this one's spicy. This one's barbecue. Oh.
I almost passed out. Holy shit. So there's actually some studies, not studies. We have studies. There's a lot of surveys that reporting that a lot of people's safe food are more processed foods and more blandish foods and more cardboardy looking foods, right? So that brownish processed tannish looking thing is going to be your processed foods. Chicken tenders is one of the most accessible, safe things that there are. That's why they're at all the restaurants. Chicken tenders, they're at all the restaurants. Doesn't matter what ethnicity you go to, they got some type of chicken tender. And we find that interesting when we start looking into the literature. What are people's safe foods? And that one always comes up. So I like to mention that because I have a lot of clients that have really bad diets because their safe foods are always processed. So they're not eating anything bright and colorful, green and leafy vegetables, right? They're not eating those things. It's like when I met Spencer. I had never seen that fucker eat one piece of lettuce my entire life.
Not true. I eat it. I didn't eat any. First of all, when I start to know people, I don't eat anything in
No.
front of them. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm the
just
same way.
exactly.
I
'Cause
can't do it.
don't look at me.
Yeah.
Don't look
I'm
at
like,
me. Yeah. And so I don't eat anything. And then once I start warming up to people, that's when I actually start eating. And actually, I was a lot more
Talk about it.
I was just a lot more what is it? Fucking I
Picky?
didn't eat a lot of different foods,
Yeah.
right? I was a lot more picky before I met Nas. And then once I start talking to him and then once I start getting to know him and stuff, then I start eating different foods and then I start, cooking differently and stuff. I was also very hungry in college. So I was like, I'll eat whatever. If it's free, cool.
Yep.
So that also helps. Hunger also makes you
Hunger
want to
helps.
eat different foods.
You'd be like,
So,
how long has Spam been in the cupboard?
crackers and ketchup. Lovely.
Crackers and ketchup. Jesus Christ.
Saltines and ketchup. I tell you, boy.
It tastes just like poverty. Yeah.
This only costs 99 cents
Yep.
to buy.
And I was teasing about this because I know Spencer's had some pickiness. For me, it's a lot about textures, right? Certain textures are no-goes for me.
Yeah.
But, that doesn't mean you're autistic. That means, I'm just defiant, right? I'm just defiant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I love crunchy food. I've noticed the overstimulation. What calms me down is the crunchiness. I wish I would recognize that years ago. I wouldn't shoved all those carbs in my face all the time, but you know how that goes.
Hey,
but yeah.
every time I eat chips, I always think of the fat kids from Me, Myself, and Irene. Or no, it's when Jim Carrey's wife dies and he adopts the three black kids.
First of all, she doesn't die. She
leaves him.
She leaves him for a smaller man, a blacker man, and so he impregnates his wife, and then she leaves with the little guy.
Yep.
And then they go off, and she leaves the kids with him.
It's
Me, Myself, and Irene.
Yeah. And then, but the one kid, he's always eating chips, and then fast forward, he's fat as hell, and I'm like, damn, I take direct offense from this shit.
Is this a biography? I don't know.
Every time, as soon as I open a bag of chips, that scene pops in my head. I'm like, fuck. Crunch.
I love that scene from that
scene because he's always eating chips.
He is.
I love talking about these little nitty gritty things about autism too, because we're usually getting right into movies and shows, and we're going to get to that, but they're shorter clips today. But I want to talk about the small things, right? That autism is that people don't talk about. I love that you mentioned the tiptoe walking. It's magnificent. My best friend's little girl, right? Just learning to walk, and she's always on her tiptoes. And what's she doing? What's she do? And he'll push her feet. Not he won't, but his wife will set her back down on her heels. I'm like, kid, and then she'll pop right back up. I'm like, kid, it is what it is, man. Let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. My best friend's autistic. His wife is autistic too. I'm like, your little girl's autistic as shit. They're like, she's only 13 months. You can't say that. I was like, okay, whatever, man.
Yes, you can. I love how the guy who is specialty is autism, and she's like, no,
there's no way. That's a good chicken tender eating motherfucker I've ever met.
All she eats chicken titties. That's it.
To be fair, that girl does love some hummus though, so she got a little Arab in her.
No.
Yep, take after her uncle.
Colin's wife loves that.
Yeah, I know.
Loves that a lot.
She loves hummus and beans. That girl's Mexican and Arab through and through. We're gonna get together so good when she gets older. We're just gonna be eating. We're just gonna be eating. I ain't gonna be chasing her, but I'll be eating, watching her.
You go get it. You come back when you're hungry.
You come back when you're hungry. Just a heart attack. I'm just dead. It's like Simba and his dad. Dad!
Oh my God. What?
I'm getting way off topic here. I'm so sorry.
Papa?
Yeah.
Papa, no.
Let's get into the show.
I just want to say real quick. I also love the fact that we talk about how with food, it can be very, it's like, you can be very picky on what you eat. And that kind of goes with, we see a lot of, I think, autistic people who are also cooks, who are professional chefs,
Yes.
but yet they eat like shit. They make these beautiful dishes. They look amazing, but then sometimes they also eat like shit.
Yep.
They do.
Mhm.
Because, well, it's easier, but then you're putting everything into these dishes, right? And you're
Yeah.
able to, do this for somebody else. Maybe that's also the satisfaction of it. Like you're helping feed someone else, and that might be part of it too. And then you're just like, well, I just want something quick. I just want to go to sleep because I am spent on all my creativity. We talked about a little bit
Yeah.
on the bear, but I think that's also something we could bring up as well, since we don't really do a lot of like cooking, and then we also don't really do a lot of talk on like chefs and whether or not that balances off too. So
I'm gonna try and hit up someone, man. So you'll see a lot of chefs, a lot of bakers, autistic. A lot of my kids want to go into coffee shops and bake goods.
Right.
So yeah, maybe we'll try and pull some scenes, invite some guests for that. But yeah, good point. A lot of creatives also in the food industry.
Yeah.
It's funny,
My son loves cooking,
there you go. It's so calming for so
Yeah.
many of my students. It regulates them.
but he won't eat it. So, but like, are you gonna try it? No.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we got a
It's
job.
for you. It's for you.
Hey, no,
Okay.
it's for you. Kids,
Let me tell you something. That's not us. We cook, we eat it.
we ain't saying
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. Oh, I made these chicken tenders.
Don't touch them.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. As soon as I get locked onto something, I always come back to it like 50 times. So it's wonderful to talk about some of these acronyms, some of these things, you and your journey, right? Because we see this as a big thing now where the children are getting diagnosed because the moms are like extreme advocates to what's going on. I'm going to support my kid, right? And then now the moms are getting diagnosed. And so, right, my dissertation was on this, just in women in the representation of autism and why it's not happening. And so there's a lot of wonderful literature out there, actual research studies, not just books. But there needs to be more. And what we see is that folks on the spectrum could tend to collect folks on the spectrum as friends. So you're right. Most likely you had friends, homegirls, homies, relationships with other folks that were autistic. It seems to me that it's all I attract, and those are the only people I relate to, and it's only the people I'm really attracted to, mentally, cognitively. Otherwise, I'm like, well, this is boring. You're just a normie? You got no weird stuff? Where's the weird stuff?
I know you're a weirdo. Come on.
Yeah. So as we know, right, if you've got it, your child's got it, then someone in your parents' lineage, mom or dad had it. But then we start digging deeper and we realize that we tend to partner with each other. So if one parent's got it, it's really likely that the other parents probably got it too. And so we see that we're always just with each other. And so a lot of people are like, no, it's not both my parents. And then we start digging in therapy. I'm like, bro, it's both your parents. Just one's this way and one's the other way. One's super hyper, one's super quiet and stoic. So we're going to pivot to up now.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see one family's all bubbly and shooting shotguns, all hillbilly shit, right? Sorry.
All that hillbilly shit.
She like, that's my family. Just spits out her dip.
Yeah.
And then you've got the other family though, super stoic, like no affect and all that. I'm like, so this went from ADHD, super bubbly and all the craziness to like super professional, super stoic, super reserved, low affect. To me,
my family.
See, would have been your family. And to me, it's like, you would think that just that one's autistic. But that's kind of BS because autism can be so many other different complexities and not just the quiet, low affect, like isolated kid on the internet. No. It's black and white thinking. Everything's gray. And so I wanted to bring attention to that where I think that he himself is probably spectrumy. And his wife is creative and bubbly and wonderful. Maybe she's neurotypical. Both feel autistic to me. But then again,
especially when she was younger, right? Like
Yeah.
you really kind of see it when she was younger, and just being like, you don't talk much. I like you.
Yeah.
Just so blunt, so just
Yeah.
like get to the point. Like I like you. That's it.
That's it. You're gonna listen to me yap for the last 3
Yap?
hours. Yap.
Gap.
Gap.
Yap.
Yeah.
I'm a gap to you. All right. I'm done talking. I'm sorry.
All right.
We're good.
Let's pivot to the show.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So let's do the first scene that we are going to get to, which is by Dina. So what made you want to pick this scene? And yeah.
Okay, so this scene, and I'm going to use it as a metaphor for demands. And I say demands because when you have a PDA child presenting with pathological demand avoidance, they avoid daily demands. And I mean, I want to talk on school refusal because it's such a hot topic right now. A lot of PDA kids are refusing school, and you have to look at every demand they have to meet as a balloon to get to school. So you're handing them this balloon. Get up, get dressed, brush your teeth, choose breakfast, put your shoes on, get your backpack on, get on the bus or get in the car. How many demands do they have to meet before they even get to school to meet the demands of the daily school day? They have zero control in their mornings, Monday through Friday. And then comes school refusal. So it's like holding on. Every morning you're giving them this bunch of balloons. And finally, it's to the point where they just lift off and disappear into their room and they just don't want to go to school. So I try and link PDA to that scene because it's telling you your child is in fight or flight right now and they'd rather hide in their room than meet those daily demands that you're giving them.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. So immediately when you think about PDA, this is one of the first images that comes up.
Yeah, that's exactly how I thought. Once I understood PDA and it's this drive, they want to rename it to persistent drive for autonomy instead of pathological demand avoidance.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because they want control of their own body, their own space, their own day. And it's hard to give that to them some days because there are rules and there are things that you have to go to school, right?
Yep.
They want to go to school. It's just they can't go to school because of all those demands and the lack of control that they're feeling each and every morning. So yeah,
the cognitive load is too much. It's too much before they even get into the bus. I mean, let's be real. That fucking school bus was terrible, bro. So like, that's when the shit went down. You getting bullied, name calling, in small spaces. I'm a big boy, sit in the front of the bus, back of the bus. You sit in the front, you're weird. The back, you're going to get horribly teased. I mean, it's a shit show on the bus.
Yeah.
If a bus is full and then you got to sit with somebody that and you're just shy, you're just like,
it's too much. It's too much stimuli. It smells funny. You don't know if the bus driver is going to kill you or they're going to be your best friend. Like, you don't know.
Like a slam on the brakes.
You
won't listen.
Might have had a different experience. I was also grew up in the suburbs. Like sagging on Michigan, just being like, I'm trying not to die.
I'm trying not to die. I ain't gonna lie, I fell asleep on the bus a few times, woke up and we were in like the bus parking lot. I'm like, this is where I die. I fell asleep in the back of the bus and she's like checking it and she's like, wake up. Where am I? And she had to drive me all the way back home. I was like, thank God she didn't turn me into like some puppet or something. Jesus.
You will be my puppet now.
Yeah. She's like, no, this one's autistic. I don't want it.
Oh my God.
Not this one.
Not this one. No. She's like, I wish it was one of the white kids. No, it was me. I'm sorry.
I want one of the pretty ones.
Yeah.
Like, no.
The blue-eyed ones. She's like, this one is, I just want to already look like a potato. I don't understand.
Got the potato.
I know. So getting back to reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you multiplying everything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and there's all these different stimuli and sensations with the teeth, shower, maybe food. There's the smells, there's the sounds, there's the noises. Maybe there's other children in the house. Then you got to put up with your mom saying things, and no one wants to like pay attention to the mom anyways, right?
Yeah.
If I can hate your mom, but you love your mom, but as soon as your mom tells you to do something, you're like, no, fuck you. That's not what your son's going to say out loud, but that's what he's thinking in his head. Like, I was going to brush my teeth, and then you told me, so now I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Literally, that's how it goes.
Literally. I mean, I'm the same way. My father's disabled, lives with me, and he'll be like, hey, man, I need you to take out the trash. Well, I don't want to do it now. And he'll just sit there and like
Give me
shit
the
at me.
option to do it myself.
Yeah.
I don't,
I need to want to do it for you.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you
I
just
remember one thing my mom used to do for the trash. She was just like, I'll time you. Go.
Oh, yeah.
Try to make it competitive. Be like, okay, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going.
I got the high score.
It works.
It worked.
Fastest trash time you ever seen.
Fastest trash man across the Mississippi. Fastest man in the wet. You went to school so proud as a little autistic kid. I'll take out the trash so fast.
Hey, you take the trash out that fast? Nope.
No.
No, you didn't.
Immediately got your ass kicked.
I'm the Usain Bolt of taking out the trash.
The Usain Bolt of taking
Jamaica.
Oh my God. Shout out to
That
Usain.
Jamaican flag with me.
Shout out to Usain Bolt, who liked one of our posts this year.
Hey,
Shout out.
hasn't liked one since.
I know. He liked the one though.
Hey,
like
that's
the
all you need.
That's all I need. So by the time they even get ready to go onto the bus, it's too much. It's overwhelming. Then they got to go to school. Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
Hey.
So what, 8 hours, 7? Yeah.
Too much. Way too much. So think about for any individual, it's too much. For a kid that's already nervous system is in fight or flight all the time, as you said, you know, magnificent young lady at 40, young lady at 40.
Yeah.
But you said, Nas, I've been anxious my whole life. I've never rested or relaxed my whole life. Well, your son's the same way, maybe even more heightened. And so it's too much. So then the vagus nerve gets activated. They get overwhelmed, overstimulated, and that's when the avoidance comes. No, that's where maybe the assholishness comes. They want to do it. They really want to, but they can't mentally do it because everything is deregulated. So that'd be like telling us here, you know, after just dumping out our trauma story on something. Okay, so now I need you to take this exam.
Yeah.
I need you to answer these 5 math questions real quick. And you're like, I can't even see.
Yeah.
So that's the demand avoidance, is the deregulation in the nervous system, which then blocks the person's ability to function. And it looks like they're being defiant, but in actuality, they're completely deregulated because of all the stimuli. And this makes a lot of moms feel bad. So I'm not going to even have you go on this topic because I don't want people to be like, oh, she's just a mom crying. But it hurts a lot of moms because then they're like, man, my kid doesn't love me. You know, I can't connect with my kid. They won't do what I say. Why can't they be normal? I must be a bad mother because I can't get my kid to regulate or go to school. And if they don't go to school, they're not going to have a normal life. And so the mom starts to grieve all this stuff. And they start to be like, what's wrong with me? What's the kid? But nothing's really wrong with the kid, right? They just got certain neurotypes. But then the moms or my clients will take it on. And they take it on. I'm like, man, you're doing everything you can, man. All we can do is try and meet the kid where they're at. So you know these things. I just wanted to speak about it as a therapist because this is real and I have a lot of clients going through it. And the kids are magnificent. I met them. This shit gets hard. Shit gets really hard. So PDA, it's a thing. Spence, you got a different visual in your brain other than the balloon one where like someone demands something or asks for something. You're like, no.
Other than just everyday life, you know.
No.
See, and also I kind of want to add on to what you're saying is
Go ahead.
like I also don't see that, you know, you miss a certain day of school, the social services actually comes out and talks to your parents. I've had it happen to me because I hated going to school and I missed a lot of school days.
Yep.
And so they think like something's happening there when in reality, I just didn't like going to school. wasn't anything. And then so your parents get in trouble
Yep.
with that. And that's a scary thing, having social services or like someone coming out and talking to your parents, being like, what's going on here? Why is this happening? What's going on? It get pretty scary there.
Yeah.
And then so it's like and then that adds a little bit more pressure, I guess, because then you're seeing like your parent getting into trouble, and then you're like, oh shit, I have to like really go to school. I can't be late. I can't miss a day because, then they'll get in trouble and, some could happen. But
Could lead
just
to
gotta have.
more overstimulation, though, more pressure, more anxiety. Right. And so it's just a horrible cycle.
Yeah.
So before the pod, I asked you, I said, you said, yeah, I'm nervous. I said, don't be nervous. Just relax. You're like, oh, sure. I've done that well over 40 years.
God, why could you just relax? It's a podcast.
Why have I never thought of that, Dr. Nas?
Wow. Good job.
Jesus Christ. Instantly felt like an asshole. Instantly.
No, not at all. I know. I took my deep breaths. I have my sweater I could play with. There's like holes in the end of it, and
there you go.
Very relaxed atmosphere, so I'm not as on edge as I was in the beginning.
So there we go. I was trying. See, I told you to relax because I was telling you. I was trying to give you the vibe of us.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be chill with anyone, it's going to be us. So, I mean, that's the weirdest thing to say because most humans.
I'm black.
Everyone who's going to be listening on their car ride home. He's what?
It's so dumb.
I know.
Sorry.
Apple, it's his Apple computer. But I was trying to get you to regulate just by being with us and sitting with her. I told you we're going to laugh. We're going to talk some shit. We're going to be educational. And you could see you like slowly ease into the vibe. And you're like, oh, maybe I can do this. And I want to bring attention to that because it's something about our people that we can regulate our people. And when it's not our people, then we do get clammy and anxious and we start to stutter and we lose our word and we white out. But we asked you a lot of very specific questions rapidly and you're like, boom, 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 boom. If it wasn't for our dynamic, then you might have been like, well, fuck, I don't know.
I would probably been like, cut.
Chicken tendies.
Yeah.
Chicken tenders?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make mention of that too. People tend to heal when we're around other folks that are like us or we know that won't judge us. Which is the whole point of this podcast, right? The whole point.
Mm-hmm.
My demand avoidance thing for my brother, I'm going to talk about him real quick. It's not that he's overwhelmed. It's that it takes him a second to cognitively process what you just said. And you can see him going through the steps, right, methodically. So like, hey man, hand me the screwdriver. I just look at you. I'm like, you don't hand me the fucking screwdriver. The goddamn thing gonna fall on my head. Now I'm gonna be dead. Then what? Now now you ain't got no brother. It's on you. I hope you're happy.
There's no pressure at all for that.
Well, the other day I was putting a trailer hitch on the bottom of the car and I'm under the car and I've got this 200-pound metal beam on my head. I'm like, Salim, hand me the goddamn wrench. I don't see it. Hand me the goddamn wrench. And then I finally realized it was sitting on my stomach.
What an asshole.
So he's in full-blown fucking panic. I'm fucking swearing up a storm. My dad's like, my son's dead.
Somebody a trailer hitch.
It's the dumbest shit. And the reason why I mention this is because he has it all the time with a bunch of stuff. Hey man, do this. Hey man, help me with the dishes. Hey man, hand me this one thing. Hand me the ketchup. And you'll just see it's a methodical. He's going to do it. Just takes him a few extra seconds. And you'll see other people that like get angry or they'll look at him. Or like, my father sometimes used to be like, come on. And there's no hurry him. The faster you tell him to go, the slower he goes.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Spencer on a trip in Florida. So we were in Orlando and we was out. It was pouring rain. And we're like, Salim, you got to run now, man. It's fucking pouring rain. We're getting these badass tacos. I ain't running. Okay. And he just slowly Eeyore walked through the water and the mud puddles. And by the time he got to us, he was so pissed off.
Yeah, I remember now.
Remember that
Yeah,
now?
it was like monsoon,
Monsoon
like
raining.
rain.
Yeah.
It was bad. And then the run to the car was way worse.
He would not do it. And then we kept pushing him. Come on, you got to go. And then he dug in. Then he got angry. So you'll see when you continue to push, as a parent, as a loved one, as a teacher, you continue to push. Folks like my brother will pop on you, and he will explode, and he will tell you to die with his words. I'm the same way. You push me enough, I'm going to explode. I know better to calm my breathing, relax, let go of the emotions, be professional. And, but it took me a long time to work on that. And so a lot of people would diagnose my family members as borderline personality disorder because the hot and heavy flow of emotions. And we diagnose a lot of women with that, a lot of people of color. In actuality, it's probably trauma, and a good majority of them are going to be neurodivergent, probably autistic. You have no idea how many women and women of color that come in, the borderline. So what, does that mean that we don't love them? I'm pretty sure this kid's autistic. Oh, no, they're not. I hate them as a client. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, you didn't even give the kid a chance. They're deregulating with their emotions because you're asking certain, it gets weird. So I wanted you to talk about one more thing. And then because we know we got to wrap up soon because you got to go. You talked about this somatic work. What's somatic mean? What's somatic?
How you spell it?
So
Use it in a sentence.
Found. Do I have to rhyme it? Because I can't do that now.
Somatic.
Yeah.
Fomatic.
Fomatic? What the fuck is
Fomatic? That make it worse.
All right. Somatic, what is that?
So somatic exercises, and there are therapists that train and work as a somatic therapist. What we do during my sessions, or we talk about what I want to talk about. She listens, she validates my experience, she validates my emotions. But then as soon as we're done, she says, where do you feel this in your body right now? And most of the time it's in my lower pelvic psoas area, which is the low back muscle.
Yep.
And it just gets tight. And that's where you store, and some may not know this, you store so much trauma, especially as a female, in your hips. And after childbirth and all that stuff, there's a lot of trauma your body holds in that psoas hip area. And it always contracts when I'm talking about the hard things, the heavy things. And what she does is she makes me feel that emotion, as hard as that is, and then I breathe through it with her. And it's not any holding breath, it's just breathing into it. She'll say, breathe around it. And sometimes it moves, sometimes it releases it, and then I'll start yawning and I'll start coughing. My nose will start running because I'm releasing. Sometimes I'll start crying, or my eyes will just start tearing, not even like full on sobbing, just tearing. And I'm just like, wow, here comes the release. The other day when it was really heavy conversation, I just felt it. It was just so heavy in my throat and it was so heavy in my chest. And she's like, I need you to breathe around this. You can feel these emotions that we talked about. So I felt two at one time, and I felt guilty feeling two at one time. I didn't realize it was okay to feel more than one emotion.
Yeah.
And she's like, breathe around it. And the calmness that I was able to get this heaviness out of my throat and literally push it down. And then it was gone. It was just released. So, I mean, I was sobbing by the end of it. That was my release that day, but yeah, it's feeling the emotions of all the trauma that's stored in your body and learning how to heal that and feel that and allow your body to feel it.
Yeah.
And work its way out. Yeah. It's deep.
Somatic therapy.
It is not easy work.
No.
Yeah.
No. So it's paying attention to the body and working through the body to calm it and soothe it. It's not all about cognitions. It's not all about deep breathing, but it's slowly doing body work. Identifying, assessing, treating, right? It's all about working through that journey of healing, but through the body. because there's so much stuff coming up all the time: headaches, migraines, tension, irritable bowel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where's the pain at? It's in your feet, joints, ligaments, a lot of things. So this somatic work, I wish a lot more therapists paid attention to it. Because if you're working with neurodivergent clients, autistic clients, things are going to be stored in certain areas that they aren't going to be able to articulate. It's just there. There's going to be certain feelings that are felt that we don't know why. It's alexithymia, but it's there. And so how do we get the body to kind of move through these and let go of some of that pain? Specifically, if there was any traumas that it's attached to, because then it's even harder work. So EMDR work is really good for trauma. This is really good. Right now, I'm working with one client on, damn, I forgot the word for it now. So it's pain experience, like reprocessing. So they've got certain chronic health issues. A lot of folks on the spectrum who are autistic, a lot of chronic health issues, somewhat what we just mentioned. And trying to reprocess like that pain and how it comes up and regulate it. So good. Somatic work. I'm glad that you brought it up. It's definitely a great treatment for those on the spectrum. I'm going to edit out those 2 scenes, Spence, and we're just going to do the whole podcast just on that one scene.
Yeah. Got through a lot.
I wonder if you got any words of advice for moms out there dealing with PDA, people that just deal with PDA themselves. What's your advice as a human? And then what's your advice as a mom?
As a human, give yourself grace. You have to take everything day by day. Life is hard enough. Life is heavy enough. And make sure that you rest. And I know it's hard to do, but you need to take that time. Even if sometimes I go lay in my closet, it is so quiet in there. Even with the kids downstairs screaming, there's just this sense of calmness in there just for 5 minutes.
Yep.
I mean, that may take just to get a little bit of that regulation back into your body. As a mom, I want to say, I see you. This journey is lonely, but it doesn't have to be anymore. I'm going to keep advocating for my family and other families and putting information out there for you. And low demand parenting is the way to go. Don't feel guilt and shame for getting rid of conventional parenting, because it does not work for our kids.
Nope.
It's not going to work. And if you want a life of calmness and you want your child to thrive, implement low demand parenting now, and you will see the changes. I promise you'll see the changes. And don't let society force you into thinking, take their iPads and discipline them more and keep them in the room more. It doesn't work, because you'll be walking in those circles for the rest of your life.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you for being open with us and authentic and real.
Yeah.
Emotional. But we're shooting to have the best guests that we can have, real guests. And so you were one of them.
Yeah.
So the pod turned out a lot better than what I thought because of your humanness. That's why I asked you that question first. So much love and appreciation for your journey, the things you've been through, for doing your best as a mom. That's all we can ask, I'm not saying that you always do the best and you're always perfect, but the thing is you're striving to do your best. And for kids, I've seen a lot of them in therapy. That's all they want.
Mm-hmm.
So much love and respect for you and your family.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. With that, thank you, Dina, for coming on to the show. Any plugs for anything you got going on?
I might have some merchandise dropping for PDA soon.
Nice.
Keep a lookout. I'm trying to work on something really cool.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Where should we be looking?
You could find a link in any of my bios. I'm on all platforms: Pinterest, Threads, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. My link in my bio. Once it's there, the merchandise will be in the link there.
Okay. Awesome.
Our view from the spectrum. Yep.
Okay. Our view from the spectrum. Go check Dina out. Great stuff. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. Definitely would love to have you back at some point. Yeah. Thank you once again. Um, all right, everybody. This has been the Different Spectrums podcast. I'm Spencer. That's Naz.
Hi, everyone. Much love. And remember, take care of yourself.
Or don't.
That's completely up to you. Peace.